let me move on. CC, I want to invite you to, I know you're familiar with this red thread issue. So briefly, let me enlighten people about this red thread letter. Now, red thread wrote a letter which was published, basically saying in this matter on the regional chairman, region number 4, Daniel Siram, he was, and I have some part of it here for Rick to read, is the letter is captioned, it was published on the 22nd of September in Stabrook News, and it is captioned that why was it necessary to get the advice of the DPP on the Siram case? Why was it necessary? And they said, what is baffling to us though, is why was it necessary to get the advice of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, as to whether to charge or not? We have dealt with countless domestic violence cases and the DPP was never consulted. Is this a new way of doing things, and should we therefore expect this level of involvement of the DPP going forward when it comes to domestic violence cases? That's a question they asked. Or is it that the law works differently depending on who is involved in the alleged crime? We should not have to ask this or to wonder if some cases are not important enough or others are too important to be dismissed because of who is involved. And yet others are dismissed precisely because they are also important, because of who is involved. The law should be applied evenly without fear or favor. Now, having written that, the DPP's chamber, through the person of the, let me, all right, I have the thing here. I like read them, so you're going to misquote them. There's a letter in the newspaper shortly thereafter, and it is signed by one Liz Rahaman. She's the communications officer for the DPP. It's a short letter, so let me read it out. It says, dear editor, please publish our letter in response to the published letter on Friday, 22nd of September, 2023. Caption, why was it necessary to get the advice of the DPP on Daniel Siram's case? By their own admission, stated in the last line, paragraph 1, it is a criminal offense and no one should be above the law. The representatives of Red Thread are aware that all criminal matters reported to the Guyana Police Force are investigated, that the police files is in keeping with the Constitution of Guyana, Article 187, must be forwarded to the Director of Public Prosecutions for legal advice as the authority vested with the power and responsibility to give legal advice in all criminal cases. That is rubbish. Miss or Mrs. Rahman, that is rubbish. All criminal cases do not have to go to the DPP for advice. Maybe that is the practice now. But all criminal cases, this is what this person representing the DPP office is saying, all criminal cases. So let's assume you have a wounding, somebody wound someone, assault causing actual bodily harm, which are all crimes. You saying that those matters have to go to the DPP? No, they don't have to go to the DPP for legal advice. I said on this program before, and let me repeat it, and this is from no other person than Ian Chan. Ian Chan taught us, senior police officers, that where the matters that must be sent to the DPP before a charge is instituted, those matters are clearly identified in the statute, the laws of Guyana. And it will say that no prosecution should be proceeded with unless the fiat of the DPP has been obtained. Unless the advice of the DPP has been obtained. There are offenses that you have to get that fiat before you can proceed. And Ian Chan said, all other matters, you can proceed with charge and later send the file to the DPP for them to review, to see if you've covered all the grounds, to see if the charge is correct, because they can then null pros if they believe that there isn't sufficient evidence, and they can intervene at that stage to get clarification and all of that. So this statement that the communication director or the communications officer is making, that all matters in all criminal cases must go to the DPP, is wrong. That statement is not correct. It cannot stand scrutiny. Many files, many criminal matters, I as commander will institute or direct the charge be instituted, and then after the institution of the charge, you send to for legal advice. Especially, let me make this point, especially in some summary matters, there are crimes, especially that in some summary matters, because you have a 6-month period in summary matters to institute charge, especially if they are not hybrid, either or. In other words, they're not summary as well as indictable. So what will happen? Sometimes it takes a little time to investigate, and the file comes to me 5 months after the incident. You go on your charge because you're fear that if you send for legal advice, it might come back after 6 months, and then you can't institute any charge. If it's a hybrid charge, then you can institute a criminal indictable charge and ask a summary disposal under the Administration of Justice Act. But that statement is incorrect. And let me get CC to come in and to give his view on that. CC, let me hear you on that issue.
Well, the communication personnel quoted Article 187 of the Constitution, and she opined that all matters investigated by the police criminal nature must be sent, and she highlighted all and she's highlighted must. But when you look at Article 187, hear what they say. It said, the Director of Public Prosecution, referred to in this article as the Director, shall have power in any case in which he or she considers to do so. A, the institution and to institute and undertake criminal proceedings against any person before any court other than court martial in respect of any offense against the law of Guyana, to take over and continue any such criminal proceedings that may have been instituted by any other person and authority, and C, to discontinue at any stage before judgment is delivered any such criminal proceedings instituted or undertaken by him or any other person or authority. The thing saying that the DPP can institute or undertake any criminal proceedings against anybody. They can take over any case, no institute proceedings any person apart from court martial. If it's court martial, it is a no. The DPP can't come in there. And the other one, the BPP can take over any matter and continue it, and it could discontinue, like what they did on numerous occasions. Discontinue. There's nothing in there saying that all the files investigated by the police must go to the DPP for advice. As you rightly say, there must be a fiat, and the fiat is a command, is an authority where the thing is saying it must be done, that you cannot do certain matters unless you have the DPP's fiat. And I can remember some of them, like corrupt transaction with agent, incest, offenses under the Sexual Offences Act, some election offenses. And let me tell you about some offenses under the Sexual Offences Act, where the matters got to be sent to the DPP. Section 41(1) said, when an offense under this act is reported to the police shall in every case record and report and conduct an investigation, saying that all the reports that made, police got to record them and conduct an investigation. And they said within 3 months of the complaint being made under subsection 1, a charge shall be laid in respect of the report. That within 3 months after the complaint is made, a charge shall be laid. Or the file relating to the report and investigation shall be sent to the Director of Public Prosecution for advice. So it's saying that if after 3 months in the Sexual Offences Act you did not comply with it, you didn't charge anybody, you have to send the file to the DPP for advice for all those matters. So in terms of taking action, certain matters, as you mentioned, that Mr. Ian China thing, are laid down in the laws, saying that you have to get the DPP fiat, and the fiat is an authority. It's saying this must be done. So to write nonsense that all files got to go to DPP, I don't understand that, at all. It is not in any law. It is not in the constitution of Guyana. The constitution talk of the DPP can institute charge, they can take over matter, they could withdraw, they could null trust, or they could withdraw matters before the court. So, and we coming back to the point, remember in the Dharamlal matter, where coming out of the DPP that they have thousands and thousands of cases. Maybe that is it, because if they want all the cases to go to the DPP, and if the commanders like conveyor belts, they're not turning back no file. They're not saying, hey, this ain't getting to DPP. Let me deal with this right here, because we don't have to get the DPP's fiat. We don't have to get a permission from the DPP to charge. So anything running to the DPP, and perhaps the DPP, that skill of case management, that they supposed to manage a file hearing. Oh, we only had this file 2 weeks ago, and we're looking at it. And then the police too, they were saying the file gone to DPP when nothing ain't gone to DPP. It ain't even left the police station, And the commanders, them also, they are not taking the proper action. They're not looking at the files. They're not reading statements in the report, as the case may be. Just send it DPP for advice, DPP for advice. Maybe that's why we have all those backlog of cases, those thousands of cases lying at the DPP.
Right. I tell you, these students are brilliant. Look, I left it up there for good to see. John C. Paul is asking, what is the purpose or function of the police legal advisor? Isn't that office there to advise the police so that they can institute charge instead or before wasting? Exactly, Mr. C. Paul. Apart from the police themselves, because if you as a commander not sure, the police legal advisor, that is what is there to advise on before these things go to the DPP. And I repeat, unless the law stipulates that the fiat of the DPP must be obtained, you can deal with it right there at the either CID headquarters level or at the command level. You can deal. So this statement that the communication officer saying that all criminal files, as some people say, that is rubbish. That is not so. So it is important that we give you the valid and credible information on these things. It is very, very important that we do so.